Hi everyone, welcome to my first blog entry. So today I reflecting on my personal values, beliefs and biases in relationship to spiritual and moral development in early childhood. So I believe that children are naturally curious and sensitive to the world around them. So my personal values like kindness, empathy and honesty come from upbringing and experiences. I grew up with deep respect for other beliefs, but I realized sometimes a whole unconscious biases. For example, I used to assume that children needed to be tough, moral, primarily through discipline, but I learned that modeling behavior is just as important. My values push me to create a classroom where every child feels seen and heard. I want children to express their thoughts about the world and feel safe doing so. That means I need to be aware of my own assumption, especially when children come from culture or spiritual background different from mine. So this reminds me of Erickson's psychosocial theory, especially the stage of trust, mistrust, and autonomy shame. Building trust means accepting each child individuality, including their spiritual or moral perspective, and guide them with compassion instead of judgment. In my class, I will create opportunity for moral discussion during storytelling or play. I encourage question, model empathy, and celebrate different traditions. I also reflect regularly to ensure I'm not imposing my belief but rather supporting children's unique development. So that's all for my first blog. Thank you. So hi again and welcome to my second vlog. So today I'm going to focus on inclusivity and emotional support in the early children classroom and how my personal value influence the way I create a safe, respectful and welcoming environment for every child. So inclusivity to me means more than just having children from different backgrounds in the same room. It's about making sure that every child feels that their identity is recognized and valued. That include race, culture, language, families, through ability, gender expression, and even spiritual belief. So personally, I was raised in an environment that valued kindness and understanding, but like many people, I did always see how certain groups were excluded in subtle way. As I grow, I become more aware of my own privilege and unconscious assumption. For example, I used to think of a family as a mom and dad struggle. Now I understand that children may be raised by grandparent, two mom, a single parent, or someone entirely different, and I need to ensure they all feel equally represented and supported. Children emotions are complex and very real. As a teacher, I don't just want to teach academic, I want to teach empathy, cooperation, and self-awareness. If a child feels emotionally unsafe, if they are scared, lonely, or ashamed, they can learn effectively. That's why emotional support is such a big part of my teaching philosophy. I want to be kind of educator who listen with empathy, validate children's feeling, and help them name and manage their emotion. I believe in creating a calm, nurturing environment where children feel seen and loved, especially during big emotions like anger, sadness, or fear. This connects strongly with Vygotsky's social theory, which says that learning happens through social interaction. Children internalize the value and behavior they see modeled by adults and peers. If I model inclusivity, empathy, and open communication, my students will begin to adopt those values themselves. So another important idea from Vygotsky is scaffolding. If a child does yet know how to express their feeling in words, I can scaffold their learning by giving them the word, validating their emotion and helping them through it. That emotional support in action. So, what does all this look like in classroom? For once, I make sure my material are inclusive, like book, poster, toy, and even holiday celebration will reflect the diversity of the children and families I work with. I also implement strategies like emotion chart to help children label how they feel, quiet corner where they can calm down and feel safe, and the last one and circle time discussion where children can share stories and experiences. So when conflict arises, I guide children towards conflict resolution instead of punishing them. I encourage them to see from another person's point of view, and I always reinforce the idea that every person feeling matter. So inclusivity and emotional support are not extras; they are essential to quality early children education. My personal value push me to create a space where children feel safe, respected, and empowered to be themselves. As I grow this profession, I continue to reflect on how I can become more inclusive, emotionally responsive, and open to all the beautiful diversity that young children bring into the class. So that's all for my vlog. So see you to the next vlog. Hi, welcome back to my third vlog, which is the reflecting on moral development. What I believe about how children learn right from wrong and how I plan to guide them through moral decision in a supportive and developmentally appropriate way. So I always believe that children are capable of making moral choice, but they need guidance, space to explore, and compassionate adopt to model values. I don't believe in labeling children as a good or bad. I believe their behavior is communication, and it's our job to understand the meaning behind their action. As a future educator, I value fairness, responsibility, and empathy. That means I don't just want to teach a rule, I want to help children develop internal moral reasoning. I want them to learn why something too hurtful or unfair, not just that it's break the rule. So, next is young children are still developing their sense of right and wrong. Many are in what's Colbert called the pre-conventional stage, where they focus on consequences like avoiding punishment or getting a reward, but which guidance and support, they can start thinking about how their action affect others. Children often make choices based on what they see modeled. If I, as the teacher, show kindness, honesty, and accountability, they will begin to do the same. If I respond to mistake with shame, they may hide them. But if I respond with curiosity and guidance, they will learn and grow. So, Colbert's theory helped explain stage of moral development, but I also see the importance of Erikson, which is the initiative versus good stage here. Children are trying to assert themselves and make sense of social rules. My job is to encourage that initiative while gently helping them reflect on how their action impact others. So this means having clear and consistent expectation, using real life dictionary and stories to explore fairness and kindness, encouraging open discussion about feeling and consequences, and the last one is and always guiding children through moral dilemmas rather than imposing punishment. So if a child take another child toy, I won't just say give it back. Instead, I ask, how do you think your friend felt when that happened? I help them develop empathy and problem-solving skills. So, helping children grow morally is a process that requires patience, intention, and a lot of love. My belief and values push me to guide children respectful and help them become kind, responsible people. I always strive to be a teacher who supports not just behavior but character and conscience. So that's all for my vlog 3. Thank you. Hi everyone and welcome to my last vlog entry. So in this video, I'll be reflecting on everything I learned during the process, from exploring my self-awareness to developing a stronger understanding of inclusivity, emotional support, and moral development in young children. So one of the biggest things I learned is how deeply connected my personal identity is to the way I teach. Every belief I hold, every bias I uncover, and every values I live by become part of the classroom I create. So I become more aware of the power I have as a teacher to either support or silence children's development. That's huge responsibility. Through this reflection, I learned that teaching isn't just about delivering lessons, it's about being intentional, reflective, and inclusive in everything I do. So, before this course, I did realize how much spiritual and moral development occurred in the early year. I used to think of those things as abstract or advanced concept, but now I see that even a toddler making a decision to share a toy or comfort a crying friend is developing morally and spiritually. My perspective on inclusivity has also expanded. I now see that being inclusive means actively seeking to understand other challenges, stereotypes, and creating safe spaces for children to express their full identities. So there are three main takeaways from this experience. So the first one is self-awareness is ongoing. I need to keep reflecting on my own action, values, and assumption. So the second one is inclusivity is intentional. It doesn't just happen. It requires effort, listening, and learning. So the last one is children are moral beings that are constantly learning from us how to treat others and how to understand themselves. So, as I move forward in my journey as an educator, I commit to being the kind of teacher who creates classroom filled with love, respect, and open-mindedness. I want every child to feel seen, supported, and safe to grow into their fullest kindness self. Thank you for following along with my reflection, and I grow so much through this process, and I hope to keep growing throughout my entire career.